All right, welcome back. This is for you, history buffs. We're celebrating the life of America's 16th president on what would have been Abraham Lincoln's 203rd birthday today. Joining us now is John Testa. He's a Lincoln historian and president of the Peekskill Lincoln Depot Foundation, and he touched this area in a unique way. Tell us about that.
Yes, actually, on his way from Springfield to Washington, D.C., he made a number of stops on a train trip from there. And Peekskill, New York, where we're from, was one of those locations where he stopped, and one of the more memorable ones because he spoke to the entire community. We still have the depot that was there when he stopped, the only depot still in existence that's been retained from that time. We restored it. When I was mayor of Peekskill, we were able to obtain the building, restore the exterior. We're 80% done with restoring the interior, and we're going to be opening up the Lincoln Depot Museum shortly.
Wonderful.
With the board and the leadership of the Lincoln group working on restoring the station, it was to me a very simple call to say that this is an important part of Peekskill, New York, and American history. It should not just be preserved, it should be utilized in a way where future generations can understand history, not just through reading it in a book, but by seeing artifacts and by being in the actual building at the actual site, where over 150 years ago Abraham Lincoln stopped and addressed the people of Peekskill. Already we've had historical professors, authors, writers come to visit the site because they understand that this was an important voyage from Springfield, Illinois to Washington, D.C., and there are only a handful, a very small number of the actual sites that Lincoln spoke at from that important voyage that are still preserved. And in Peekskill, we are fortunate not just that he stopped and spoke here, but the building that he spoke at is still here. So this is something where we don't expect just Peekskillites and Peekskill people from Peekskill like me to come visit and appreciate the history, but also people from across the state and literally around the country.
Lincoln was the first president-elect to benefit from that kind of what was then 11 days, a rapid journey in which he was seen by maybe 1 million people.
They're looking forward to having a lot of educational programs there, a new visitor center to welcome our guests into Peekskill. It will be an engine for an economic development in downtown Peekskill.
I plan on loaning my parts of my collection to the museum as needed until they augment what they have and build a permanent collection.
The beauty of the Lincoln Depot is it is a smaller space, so it's a lot more intimate. gave a very brief but important speech about holding the country together, about holding the Union together, holding the nation together, and it really started right there during his inauguration train ride. And one of the stops along the way was Peekskill, New York. So that's another reason why I believe, anyway, that it's an important site.